Good morning, everyone. Morning for me, still morning for Chase as well as we record this. Welcome to Magic Partners Live. This is where we have a discussion about Disney, which we can go on for hours about. We'll try and keep it to 60 minutes as we normally do, Chase. I'm John. I'm here in Australia. We have a couple of groups on Facebook and a channel on YouTube called Disney News Jam. Chase over there in the USA has huge website that you need to subscribe to, and also TikTok live streams coming out. So DisneylandToday.net is Chase. So we're going to have a chat today because I know that we haven't been chatting for a while. Chase has been a little bit ill, and we had a trip to Disneyland a couple of weeks ago. We're all very jealous about. We're going to talk about that real soon. We're also going to talk about something opening up in Tokyo. We've got a date for that. Disneyland. We're also going to talk about a new bar that's going to be coming to a cruise line, which will interest a lot of our Disney Cruises group. And we've also be talking about Loki as well, and a little Treehouse that's finally going to open. So
finally,
let's get right into it, Chase. Let's talk about your trip to Disneyland to start off with. So you were down for 2 days this time.
Yeah.
How was it at Halloween time? Tell us.
I was really surprised that it seems like California Adventure got all the Halloween and Disneyland had very little. It seemed like they had the bunting on Main Street and of course the big winking Mickey pumpkin. And I just felt like, Disneyland wasn't really celebrating it very much with Oogie Boogie going on.
Yeah.
And now they're already decorating for Christmas. Snow is on the castle.
Yeah. We should see the tree there any day as well. It's just the way that they fast forward inside. I think it's 11th of November it starts again. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it's the 10th, but 10
sounds
days.
About right.
Yep, 10 days to totally transform the park, and it's probably ready in the next few days, to be honest with you. So let's take a look.
And then we're getting a Small World Holiday. So we'll get Small World Holiday to kind of put things in a Christmassy mood.
Yeah, we were there last year for the holiday season, and I've got to tell you, it's most magical time of year there, really, because we've done Halloween and we've done the holiday season, and it was, you can't go wrong. That time of year is the perfect place to be in the park, honestly. And so let's just take a look at some of the pictures that you sent through. This one's of the Headless Horseman, and you were telling me something about that there was a magic band situation going on with the Headless Horseman.
Yeah.
About. So tell us about that.
Sure. The Headless Horseman so they are trying to have more interactive elements to, around the parks with the magic bands.
Yep.
This happened to be one of them. So you could walk up to the horseman and kind of, move your hand in like a circular motion, and you would hear the horse come charging up. You would hear its breath, and it would be all around you in surround sound.
Wow.
It was kind of eerie and spooky even during the day. I can imagine it was even more amazing at night.
Yeah.
So we didn't spend any evening time over in California Adventure this time. We spent it all over at Disneyland because Thursday was an Oogie Boogie night, so we were kicked out, Everybody went back over to Disneyland, and on Friday we spent the day there. So we got to see quite a lot this time around. Um, we did do Grizzly River Run, which I hadn't done in a while.
Wow.
We were able to see the Dora Milaje over in um, Avengers Campus, which of course is one of my favorite shows because I am a huge fan of Black Panther. I love the Dora Milaje. I
Yep.
love Wakanda Forever. Um, so it is a big deal after Chadwick's passing
Yeah. Yeah.
to be able to see the Dora Milaje, and they looked amazing. The weather
Yeah.
was perfect. Everything was amazing about our trip. So we were able to see Magic Happens
Yep.
before it left the park.
Yep.
So now the Very Merry Christmas Parade is coming up,
Yep.
and that will take the two slots. So there'll be a 3:30 and a 6:30
6:30.
show
Yep.
at Disneyland for Christmas.
That'll be absolutely sensational. And one thing you did go for the first time is this little part
Yes,
of DCA. So how was that? Did you
I
get
did get to see San Francisco.
Yep. Yep. And how was that? Like, did it sort of live up to your expectations? That part of the park, or was it not as good
It's
as you expected?
really amazing. The theming that they've done is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
With the draping lanterns everywhere,
Yep.
all of the signage, um, there's so many fine little details and Easter eggs
Yep.
hidden around, and then of course you can go visit Baymax and Hero over at his garage.
Yep.
Um, we did get a chance to see Baymax. We did not see Hero,
Okay.
but we did see Baymax, and he's amazing. It's incredible to see him in person, if you will, in robots.
Yep.
And and of course I had to pick up the new zipper,
Yep.
the new Baymax zipper.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
he is absolutely adorable. And so there were plenty of them there. I got one. We ate at what used to be the Pacific Wharf. It is now Aunt Cass's Cafe.
Yeah.
And they still have the bread bowls there, so you can still go
Oh,
get your clam
fantastic.
chowder and your mac and cheese.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And what was the lineup for the meet and greet? Was it still quite long?
It was massive.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that hasn't died down
It
at
was
all.
massive.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's
And
extremely
the
interesting.
food venues
Yep.
it's packed. So
Right.
if you want any of the new food, which I've heard is pretty good,
Good. Yep.
if you want the ramen and you want to try all that new stuff, expect to be in line for a little while, or see if you can mobile order,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. 100%.
it is very, very packed.
Yep. Yep. And with mobile ordering, sometimes if it's busy, they'll push the times will push back a while. So you sort of want to get in there as even at the start of the day. Book your mobile order. If you want to have lunch over there, it's probably a good idea. So
Yep.
so that's great to know. Yeah, it's interesting that the lineup for the meet and greet is so long. I guess that Baymax is an extremely popular character, and I think probably people have been waiting to see him for a long time, right? That that
Absolutely.
line will continue. Let's just stay at DCA. We'll go to Disneyland in a minute. But what was the crowd levels like when you were there chasing DCA? Was it comfortable, or was it really, really busy?
It was pretty busy for both parks.
Yeah.
It was pretty busy for both parks, and I think that was just because it was right about that time of year, just before Halloween. So we got the We still had a little bit of a crowd. The wait for Grizzly River one was probably our longest.
Yep.
I think we waited probably about an hour,
Okay. Right. Yep.
and that's kind of, and it may have even been longer than that. It was an incredibly long standby.
Yep.
But it was worth it. We had a lot of fun.
Yep.
And everything else was pretty good. It was almost a walk on for Little Mermaid as usual.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
so we got right on. We probably waited, I'd say, maybe 15 minutes.
Yep.
And we really, I mean, we used Genie Plus, but very sparingly. So we had it, but I don't think we used it on anything at California Adventure, to my knowledge.
And how was booking the
So,
Genie Plus? Was it easy to get it on the day? No trouble with that.
oh
Yep. Yep.
yeah, no trouble,
That's good
no trouble.
because you have to be in the
My
park.
friend had it before.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So in the morning you have to grab it when you're in the park, right? You can't like pre-book it days before or anything else with Genie Plus.
Well, if you purchase a ticket, then you can add Genie Plus to your ticket, which does work. If you are a Magic Key holder, you cannot.
Yeah. And how are those magic keys going? They're not available at the moment. Again, are they?
That's correct.
And we don't know when they're
No,
coming.
just for renewal.
Yeah, just for renewal.
Yeah, just for renewal. And unfortunately, if you renewed after the park prices went up, you are paying the new icky price.
Yeah, because it has gone up.
So I got in before the price change.
Yeah.
Lucky me.
So let's go over to Disneyland now, and I can see that we had a bit of a visit to Galaxy's Edge as well.
I did.
Tell us how the crowd levels were there. Did you go and Rise of the Resistance again as well, or?
Yes, we did. We did both days. We did Thursday and Friday Rise of the Resistance.
Yep.
And both times we paid for it with Genie Plus. So we did not do standby for Rise of the Resistance. It was about, I want to say, in the range of about $25 per person.
Yep.
To purchase Rise of the Resistance.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that is one thing you still have to expect if you do want to Rise of the Resistance. It is not included in Genie Plus. You do have to purchase it separately.
Yeah.
But it is so worth it.
Yeah. Especially if you
that is one of the ones I would gladly pay for each time.
Yeah. Especially if you like traveling from where you are or from anywhere in the States and internationally. If you're going there for a couple of days, you don't want to miss out on that ride. So just pay for it. It's well worth it. You're right. Because when we went together, Chase, I think we lined up and we did standby. We were up for it. And
we did.
Sleep in my arms for most of the lineup. But that was about 2 hours, wasn't it? So, depending on when you're there, you can expect to wait in standby for, sort of 45 minutes right up to 2 hours. So that sort of does kill off a lot of the time you have in the park. So a lot of people have said to me, why should I buy Genie Plus? Why should I pay for something? Well, if you're there for a few days and it's a once in a lifetime trip, you don't want to waste your time. Excuse me. So that would mean that, paying the little bit extra you have to skip some lines is probably well worth it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Excuse me. And also, so it looks like you went into a little bar there in Galaxy's Edge as well, the Cantina. This looks absolutely delicious.
It was.
Did you pre-book or just go into standby to go into Ogres?
We did do the wait list, which was
Yep,
actually quite reasonable.
yep,
And
yep,
what you need to do is you need to go into the Disneyland app and select the wait list. And
yep,
then you basically you wait in the wait list, and once you're called, it was about 25 minutes. Not 25 minutes from the time you put in your request, but 25 minutes from when they buzz you and say we're ready for you, and then you can enter the actual standby line. So only when they let you know, like, you're now on the actual wait list, then you can stand in the line.
Oh, okay. No worries. So they have to find a spot for you and then you go in. Yep. Okay. Get it. Yep.
Yep.
And a lot of people have said, like you're saying now, that the wait's not too long when you go on that list. Which,
It wasn't too bad for us.
yeah. Yeah. Look, the times I've cruised past it last year, I didn't see that many people in the line. So, and got to say, pre-pandemic, like I'm talking 2019, walking past there was huge. Like there was always a big line up there. So I think it's a little bit easier to get into Ogre's Cantina now, which is great because when we were there the first time, we missed out. But you can pre-book as well. So if you really want to get a time, hard as well. The same goes with most of the sit down restaurants in Disneyland. You can pre-book 60 days out, but make sure you're ready for that 60-day mark because it goes really, really quickly. If that's
It
if you want to
does.
pre-book. But look, as you said, walk up is a lot easier these days. Yeah, so tell us, what else did you see and go to? I believe you went into Toontown. That wasn't your first time in the new Toontown, was it? No.
No, and right now it's kind of a sad place to be because it is like all boarded up
Yeah.
as they
Yep.
fix Donald's boat, and they also fix some issues with the around the fountain.
Yep.
Apparently, there was a leak underneath the ground, which was causing a lot of trouble, and it was
Yep.
causing a lot of water to just spring up.
Yep.
So a lot of the grass area that was available has been turned into concrete.
Mm.
Um, and so that takes a little bit of the nice green
Yeah.
Toontown out as more becomes brick. But I'm hoping that will be done pretty soon and the walls come down and we can see Donald's boat as it was meant to
Yep.
be, which is supposed to be a really fun, splashy play area for kids.
Yep. Yep.
Um, and so we're hoping that the Toontown gets revealed pretty soon to its full glory. But yes, we did do Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway,
Yep.
which is definitely one of my favorites. It's a lot of fun.
Yep. And stay tuned for Disney News Jam next week because you're going to do a ride focus on that particular ride.
Yes.
And we've got some awesome footage to show you. So make sure you go over there and subscribe. So that's fantastic. Look, it's good to know that everything's doing well in the parks. And I always love it to get a report from you and how Disneyland is actually going. So
Yeah, we had dinner over at Downtown Disney on Thursday. So Downtown Disney is coming along with its construction.
yep.
I am not a fan of the Jazz Kitchen.
Oh, you don't like the new?
Can't say I like the new design style.
It's funny because I've heard so many people say that. So it was, it's more authentic the way it was before. Would you say that's that? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Would you liken it to because I know World of Disney, right? And that happened here and it happened over in Walt Disney World when we had the renovations there. So we had World of Disney with all that sort of classic Disney carpet and all that sort of thing, and they did away with that, and they give it a more modern spin. Do you feel that sort of a comparison that you could make? How did you feel about that when it actually reopened? Did you like the new theming and World of Disney, or were you not a fan? Do you like it when it was older?
We went through World of Disney very briefly because we got a couple things as like a last minute shopping
Yep.
trip.
Hmm.
So we went in and got a couple of things. I got a new magic band, and we got some stuff and everything. I really like the look of World of Disney.
Yeah.
Um,
Good.
and considering you're really kind of focused on the merchandise
Yeah.
and
Yep.
everything that they have, it's hard to really, you don't find yourself lost in the of the store so much,
Yep.
and
Yep.
you're just really looking at all the great new merchandise that they have that's going on.
Hmm.
They had quite a bit of stuff for Ahsoka. They had a few things for Loki, but altogether, they just have great stuff if you happen to be outside the park and just need to get some
Yep.
amazing merchandise.
Yeah. And what was it like when you quick walk through? Do we have Christmas stuff there as well? Holiday stuff there as well? Did you have sort of a Halloween holiday mashup, or holiday stuff wasn't out then?
Not yet. There was
Okay.
not a lot of Christmas stuff out yet. We were still like, pretty good into Halloween, and
Yep.
so um now it's probably very, very different. It's
Different. Yeah.
probably mostly like holiday stuff now, Christmas.
Yep. And what do you think of the rest of the construction there at World of Disney? We've got sorry, Downtown Disney. We've got a few new restaurants coming to the area. Is there a lot of construct? Is it a big area, that new area? It's like kind of like at security before you go out and move on to Disneyland Hotel, isn't it? It's sort of on the left, can I say, as you're walking out? Because there's a few
We
new
really
restaurants
didn't
coming.
have a lot of Yeah, we didn't really have a lot of problem navigating it, and on Thursday we went to Ballast Point,
Yep, yep.
and then on Friday we went to Splitsville.
Okay.
So were both were looking great. We had
Yep.
no problem getting into either of them, and sometimes that can be an issue if you are trying to get into places around downtown Disney.
Hmm.
It can be really difficult if you don't have reservations,
Questions. Yep.
but Ballast Point and Splitsville are great options, and they
Yep.
have huge menus.
Yeah, they do.
So
Yep.
if you want really good food, try either of those because usually they don't have the lines that Black Tap has, or
Yeah.
Tortilla Joe's, or definitely you're probably going to have the Jazz Kitchen is probably going to still have massive lines, or not. You're going to be waiting for a long time to get dinner.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I always try Ballast Point and Splitsville because they're
Yeah.
great.
Yep. And we dined at Splitsville last time we were there together, and yeah, the menu was huge and plenty on it, and the prices are reasonable as well at Splitsville. So that
Yeah,
is a really good option to take. So yeah, I'm excited to hear about Disney. I'm going to miss it so much over the holiday season because we were there last year. But we have had something happening in Australia in terms of Disney. That is, we've got a cruise line. We've got a cruise ship here at the moment. She cruised into Sydney a couple of weeks back. Um, we have a group on Facebook called Disney Cruising Australia. So head over there. Hello to everyone in that group. And it was a fantastic sight to see this ship in Sydney Harbour. We will be going on a cruise over New Year's, and we'll be vlogging the entire time. And I think now that I'm done one live stream, we're going to live stream a bit when we're on the ship as well. So it's good to
Awesome.
see. It's good to see a bit of Disney in Australia finally, after many, many years of hoping and praying. So that's great for many, many families across Australia. And I know that the ship was booked out very, very quickly last year on many of the cruises. So awesome news to see that in Australia. But let's move on to another park now, just briefly. That is Tokyo. We've talked about Fantasy Springs before, and the reason why it's so interesting is we hear that there could be some similarities to this in Disneyland Forward. So we have heard that nothing's been confirmed, but we're getting it. We've got an opening date here of Fantasy Springs. Of the 6/24, and so not long to go, 6 or 7 months. And as you can see here by the photo, we're going to get sort of a Neverland, Peter Pan sort of land. We're going to get a Frozen land. We're seeing a lot of Frozen now pop up. We're seeing it in Hong Kong and Paris coming along very, very shortly as well. And also, we're going to get a Tangled land as well. So that'll be something completely and utterly new that we haven't seen before. So really looking forward to that. Tokyo Disney Sea, where this sort of expansion is going to happen, is probably, it's on the bucket list for me. I know it is for you as well, Chase, but that park is, for a lot of people, the best Disney park they've ever been to. So very interesting to see it expand. It's been a while, and that would mark a lot of expansion that's going on around the world. Not so much Disneyland, but we're going to get a lot of things happening in Disney World as usual. But you've got Hong Kong, you've got Shanghai expanding, you've got Tokyo expanding, and Paris expanding. The expansion actually in Paris is enormous. So a lot of ways to spend money for Disney at the moment. It's good to see. What do you think, Chase, that they've focused back in on the parks a little bit? Because we sort of had a focus for Disney Plus and more of the online sort of entertainment and all that for a while, but now it seems like it's focused back into the parks. And there's a bit of construction going on in Disneyland, but we still haven't heard anything about this new Avatar experience we're getting at Disneyland, have we? We don't even know where it's going to be. So that's that's all very interesting.
That, and we're still waiting for the other attraction in Avengers Campus too. So we're waiting for an Avatar experience. We're waiting for this new Marvel attraction going into Avengers Campus. There's a lot going on. It's like we're hoping to hear. Hopefully something big is coming to. Hopefully we'll get some sort of love and affection to Tomorrowland one of these days.
Yep.
But yeah, the big changes right now are still going to be with that Downtown Disney and getting all the new stuff in there, some new restaurants like you mentioned.
Yeah.
But yeah, still waiting to hear when we can actually get some attraction news for Disneyland.
Yeah, because I mean that e-ticket ride with looking at Adventures Campus, we've only seen a ride vehicle. We don't even know what it's going to be. That ride vehicle could be anything. Could be a roller coaster. We could have a Treehouse vehicle. We just don't know much about it as yet. I did like. I haven't got a photo, but it's everywhere. The droids, the new droids that they put into
Galaxy's Edge. We did not see them, unfortunately.
Yeah. They were only in there for a little while, though. I think they're not. It was kind of like a trial period, so that's good to know that. I think finally in Galaxy's Edge we're seeing what we were promised before it was opened, and that is a lot of characters. We've got Ahsoka in there now. We've got the Mandalorian. We've got Chopper in there as well. So we're seeing quite a few characters, which is great, and to see those droids sort of mingling and the three of them gives us hope that moving forward we're going to see a lot more characters in Galaxy's Edge, which is really what makes it, really what makes it for me. So that's great. So we haven't really had huge expansion in Disneyland since the Eisner era where we had things like California Adventure open, and we had Indiana Jones open, those sorts of big things happening. So I think Disneyland's really due for that Disneyland Forward project to happen at some stage, and because it's in another car park or area, it won't sort of impact the park. So while they're constructing it over probably multiple years, we won't see any interruptions to Disneyland and DCA, so that's great. So let's just go over to Cruiseline for a quick sec. I just wanted to we had an announcement that we're going to get a Haunted Mansion bar on the Treasure, and this looks sensational. We were really happy when we got a Star Wars bar on the Wish, but this will be in the same place that is, and this looks absolutely sensational. What do you think, Chase?
This looks so cool. I'd want to go on it just to hang out there. I would just hang out in that bar because it's just got to be phenomenal with the way that it looks. It's just, they've got the hitchhiking ghosts there. That portrait that changes is the captain of the ship.
Yeah.
So that we've got a story about that. So I'm sure that it will be a huge hit because it's not very large. So it will probably end up having, kind of like a wait, almost like Oga's, where you can only maybe stay in there for a certain amount of time and then let other people experience it, because it will be super popular. But I love all of the effects. I love the lighting, and they've added the wallpaper, and look at that. They've even got some merchandise available. That's awesome. I want to buy everything.
Yeah, and the cocktails look
awesome. Oh my gosh, that looks so good.
Yep. So I'm really
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That looks creepy.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I know to this day when you get on the Wish, you have to, I'm not sure if you can pre-book it, but as soon as you get on board, you can book the Star Wars bar. So I imagine this will be even more popular because there's been a lot of talk about it. And when we got the announcement like a week ago, everyone was like looking forward to going and see that. And I think just by announcing, what are these
different names here? I can't see them very well. You probably can see them better than I can. What are some of the names of these drinks?
You look. Oh, I can't see them very well either. But they look delicious. Yeah, but they look delicious, and we can't wait to see people in that bar and the vlogs coming through. So it looks like the Disney Treasure is going to be an awesome ship, and we can't wait to see that. We can't wait to see that at all. So Disney Cruise Line, as we all know, is expanding towards 2025. We're going to see 3 new ships, and they are one of the Wish class that hasn't been announced yet. We haven't got a name or any details about that ship. But we do know it's coming. We do know that the Treasure is coming late 24 into 25. And we do know that the Adventure is coming, the Global Dream, which Disney has taken over and would be their largest ship, expecting that to be capacity-wise about 6,000. So it's a big step up in the way of cruising around the world for Disney. So how many ships we got now? We have six when the treasure comes. This will make 8 Disney cruise ships. So a huge expansion over a very, very short time, which means that Disney cruising is going gangbusters all around the world. So there was something, I just want to go back to Disneyland, and there was something that we got announced last week as well. Something that we've been waiting for a long time. We've seen the construction. We have had no details since we started seeing the construction, and now we finally got an opening date, which I'm very, very happy about, because a lot of people have been waiting for this. And without a tree house, of course, in Adventureland, we you know we it's not quite Adventureland without the tree house. So we've got an opening date for next month, or for this month now, sorry, on the 10th.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for such a long time, but it's good to know that it'll be there for the holiday season. And what have you thought about the construction? What do you think about this take on the treehouse, away from Tarzan's treehouse? Do you think it's better? What do you think, Chase?
One thing I wanted to mention also is it just got announced that they are doing a Magic Key holder preview on the 9th.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do have a Magic Key and you're heading over to Disneyland, you can get a one-time preview of the treehouse on November 9th with your Magic Band. You just go check in over by the Golden Horseshoe, and they will give you a wristband, and you can go and check out the treehouse. But I was hoping for Encanto. I was really hoping for a treehouse for Antonio. But
Yeah.
that is just me.
Yeah.
This does make a lot of sense. I just, I remember the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse. Now this is different, of course, because, first of all, there is no new Swiss Family Robinson yet that you can view. You can still view the one from the 1960s on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
That includes all of the original actors, and there were 3 boys. Instead, I believe this is 2 boys and a girl. So there are 2 twin boys, and there's a daughter. So you'll have mother and father. So it's still a family of 5, but they have changed it. And I do I remember the original treehouse. I remember how it was with Swiss Family Robinson initially. It has been a long time for them to build this, since it pretty much went down before the pandemic. And then, of course, the park was closed for the 412 days.
Yep.
And then you have construction all the way up until now. So it has been a long time coming for them to do this. And yet I still don't see any huge changes. So I'm wondering what they've had to do for this, because, just, you can go over and see it now. They've removed about half of the scaffolding.
Okay.
So if you do want to, kind of see what's been developing, they've removed some of that, and they're working on it in the open. The mother is apparently an artist, and so just about, I want to say about last week, they were swapping out canvases and stuff. So it looks like this would be something that they can change. They can add art that she's been working on.
Yep.
Because they were picking canvases for stuff that she's painted in an area probably as you start coming down the treehouse to the exit. They have an area where you can stop by and I think see some of her artwork. And they were looking to see what pieces would fit there. So it'll be interesting to see if that's something that they can constantly change or do based on the seasons, maybe.
Yep.
Maybe there'll be some stuff from some artwork from the Jungle Cruise, because they're right by the attraction. So I'm wondering if they'll draw some of the stuff that we see on the attraction, which would be quite. I think that would be really fun
Yep.
to see her paint some of the animals from the Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, absolutely. So we're waiting a long
But
time, but it's going to be
yeah,
open soon. So that's really good news. Finally, what one thing that I wanted to ask you, they did there was with Tarzan's there was this big concrete sort of extension to the tree, almost holding it up, coming out, which did create a bit of a choke point um, in Adventureland. Do you think that that's a good good addition to free up that space because it was a bit of a choke point? Is it better now in that regard?
yeah,
Yep.
I would say so. Yes. Instead of having the big stairway with the bridge,
Mm.
it did look really neat, you got to admit. But as you're coming into Adventureland, having the big tree there with like the crow's nest and then the bridge,
Yep.
it did make things hard to maneuver at the entrance of Adventureland. And so it really does make a difference when you're walking there even now. So.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, and for all the details, of course, go over to DisneylandToday.net and have a look at all the other informative stuff going on in Disneyland. And please, join up while you're over there. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was Frozen Land. We've been talking a fair bit about Frozen Land that's coming to Disneyland in Hong Kong for a while. This week we had a first look at what the uniforms are going to look like over there. So we'll make this really quick. We'll go over to that. And so these are the new uniforms for Frozen.
They're adorable.
I think I think the villager they're gonna look like villagers for
Oh
the most
my
part.
gosh, they're so cute.
Yeah. So we expect this to open this month. I think it's around the 11th, or I'm going to say. And the land looks absolutely fantastic. We've got some e-ticket rides in there, including a frozen coaster. I think it's O Oakland's something. I can't remember the name of
Yeah,
it.
I
Wandering
think it's like
Oakland's
Wandering Oaken's like sleighs. It's like,
yeah,
yeah,
sliding sleighs. There it is. I can see it just down here. Let me bring that up. And that looks really, really fun. So I can't wait to see some vlogs coming through, people on the rides, people having fun in the first real frozen land that we've had, which is kind of interesting that we haven't had, how popular Frozen was. The only real ride we've got is the one in Epcot over in Walt Disney World,
right.
which is a really good ride. But not to have a Frozen land, I find it's been hard to believe over this years. But now we've got an explosion of Frozen, so we've got it across 3 parks coming very very soon. So it's nice to see that sort of focus back on the parks, like I said before. And that is leads me on to this next thing, which is we've got a bit of Frozen merch that's come out for the 10 years as well, which is very, very interesting to see all this new merch that's coming out. Um, got a beautiful castle there. Olaf.
Oh, it's so cute.
Sven's
Oh my gosh, I
what?
want the little plushie of Sven.
That's a new costume for the
Oh
kids.
no.
Um, I'm not gonna sure that is
Jerseys.
it. Yeah,
Oh, new lounge fly.
yeah, as well. So
Super cute.
a lot of focus on Frozen at the moment.
Oh, that's adorable.
Coming to the parks. We will have a full report on this and merchandise and fashion on Disney News Jam as well. But yeah, good to see a little bit of focus on Frozen at the moment. We've got it coming to the parks. We've got some new merch for the 10 years, and I think that'll probably make a lot of little girls happy, including my wife. Um, Although she's not little anymore, but yeah, good to see that happening. And like I mentioned before, a big, huge thing for Australia over the last week has been that we've finally seen Disney cruise. Well, Disney at all in Australia. We've been teased over a park for many, many years. We've been teased over a wharf that was going to happen in Sydney. And now finally we see Disney cruise on in to Sydney Harbour. And people are going bananas. We've had our first cruise come out of Sydney Harbour, which went down to Tasmania. That was absolutely fantastic. We had a lot of people report to the group that they had an awesome time. You had things like people in Australia, like kids in Australia, experience Mickey Mouse for the first time. I mean, that is absolutely huge. We heard that the lineups to see the characters were 2 hours long on the ship. We
Wow.
we heard that the first day of the merch stores opening that you couldn't get inside the store, and in fact there was lineups going all the way back to the back of the ship to get into the merch stores. We did also hear that day 2 the merch stores restocked, and they were a lot easier to get into, so that's a hot tip. Don't rush the merch stores the first day, just wait till the second day and you're going to get all the same merch, and you won't have to line up. So that's a hot tip for me. But it has been crazy.
There you go.
We now have the ship cruising down to Melbourne. So Melbourne in Victoria will see it for the first time. I think this morning she arrives in a couple of hours. So I'm guessing there'll be a lot of people down in Melbourne camped out to see her. So really big news for Australia, for Disney. I'm sure everyone in Australia knows that she's here, and probably half of the country is looking forward to a cruise on her. She will be here next year as well. So the season is from last week, so late October, right through to February, and she does cruise down from Hawaii. So first time a Disney cruise ship has crossed the equator and come into our hemisphere. And that cruise down to Hawaii was also very, very magical. 12 to 14 nights aboard, with 4 stops along the way. Great way to come to Sydney from Hawaii, or on the way back doing the reverse. Cruising into Hawaii would be fantastic as well from Sydney. So we're really happy to see her. We're really happy that we finally got some Disney in Australia, and all very exciting. So one thing we didn't get a chance to talk about much before we sort of left last time, Chase, and that was Loki. So we knew it was coming. We knew a couple of things about it, but we didn't really know that much. What are your thoughts now that we've had a couple of episodes? What are your thoughts on Loki, Chase?
Oh, I love Loki. I think this is I love the first season, and this season is, again, just as great. I love Ouroboros there. And he played by the same actor who played Short Round in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. He was just a kid then, so it is so good to see him. He is a fantastic, amazing actor with such enthusiasm, and um, and the fact that now, I mean, hey, spoilers, gotta say it, but this was a major cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I don't know what's going to happen now. We've got two more episodes, and somehow, they've got to fix the entire destruction of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in, in two episodes.
Yeah.
They have to fix the timeline.
Yep. How many
So
episodes have we got
now we've
left?
got
Two.
two.
Oh my, oh my God.
So we've
Yeah.
got tonight's episode. So it comes on
Yep.
tonight
Yep.
because it is Thursday.
Yep.
And then we've got next Thursday. And so I'm not aware yet of a Loki season 3. So whatever they're going to do, they have to fix it in 2 episodes. And but then, as far as like other stuff for Disney Plus,
Yep.
we've got some more Star Wars on the way. We've got Skeleton Crew, which I am probably not going to be watching.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look that appealing to me. But we've got, another season of Ahsoka that's currently in, I want to say, post production now.
Yep.
Because I believe they had at least gotten into the production when just before or right around the writer's strike. They were good there, I think. So they're either finishing up production or in post production for Ahsoka.
Yep.
Haven't heard anything on the Mandalorian season 4 yet.
No.
Um,
Oh,
but
what do you think of Haunted Mansion? Have you seen Haunted Mansion yet on Disney Plus?
I did see it. I
Yep.
did see it. I do think that um, let's see. I do think it's better than the original one,
Yep, with Eddie Murphy.
but it's different for sure.
Yep. Um, yeah. Do you sometimes feel like Disney should leave things alone a little bit in terms of live action stuff? I mean, it's hard to transfer a ride into a movie. It is hard. I think they had a real red hot go at it. I think the acting was pretty good in it. It's just hard for those sorts of whimsical illusions to play out in a movie. I think that was kind of my take on it. Go over and watch it, guys. Like, don't stop us. Don't let us stop you from watching. It is a good watch. Was it my favorite Disney movie ever? Probably not. But it's still entertaining. Like, it's still worth the watch. And if you've got Disney Plus, it's not going to cost you anything either. Except some time, but I think it is still worth the watch. There was some really good Easter eggs in it. There was some really funny moments in it as well. I thought the cast did a good job of it. Yeah, it's just hard to portray that ride that everyone loves into a movie. Um, yeah, yep. But yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was good. It's well worth the watch. And the other thing I saw on Disney Plus this week come out was season 2 of Behind the Attraction. I love Behind the Attraction. I
Yeah.
thought I thought season 1's great. I don't know who voices over, but she is very, very funny. And she does a really good job of that. And they have some really funny moments. And there's a lot of history revealed. There's lots of things that I didn't know about, like one of Walt's movies about pirates. We didn't sort of cast pirates with the typical R sort of thing, but he had I think it was Long John Silver was on that, and he had that voice, and that's where the pirate voice comes from. So it's very interesting that sort of to know that Walt Disney sort of created a lot of the stereotypes that we see in characters today. So a really good watch. I do really like Behind the Attraction, and I love learning about history of what Walt did and the rides through Disneyland, and for that matter through Walt Disney World. I particularly liked what they went through as well this season for the Indiana Jones ride, because that was years and years in the planning. And what they actually started with, what they planned to do at the start, and what they finished up with was completely different. So a really interesting watch. So that's Disney Plus. It continues to do well. Look, with the continuation of Star Wars, Skeleton and Crew, I will give it a watch. Just because it's Star Wars. They could surprise us. I agree with you that I'm not kind of, this tangent of storyline is kind of a little bit weird. We do lead on to some pretty big movies now, don't we? So we probably have, Heir to the Empire come out in the next couple of years. We're going to see the continuation of Rey's story as well coming up at some stage. Lots of things happening. Of course, we've got Star Wars Celebration in Tokyo in next year. Is it next year or 25? I can't remember. But that will be extremely interesting to see what's going on in Star Wars at Celebration, because we should start to see some more details about the movies come through. So Star Wars, very excited about, and I love the fact that Galaxy's Edge is finally coming up with a lot of characters. So Chase, I think we've got through it in just on an hour.
Woohoo!
Which I'm excited about. We'll keep it under that, because I know a lot of you are going, it's really hard for me to watch the whole show, to spend an hour on it. But I think we've done it this time. So I'm really happy about that. Final thoughts on Disneyland after your trip, Chase? Is it as magical as ever? And what did you think of Halloween just before we go?
I'd say Disneyland is always as magical as ever. I can't wait to go back for Christmas. So I'm hoping to get back there to see the parade, because you got to see Very Merry Christmas Parade. You got to go on Small World Holiday. I at least got to do Haunted Mansion Holiday, so that makes me happy. I'll probably do it again before it's gone,
Yep.
but those are the big ones. So Disney does Christmas extremely well always, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it too. To next time we go, I think we'll probably plan the trip for next year. And
Yes.
we've got a lot coming up at Walt Disney World as well. I don't want to leave those guys out. They've got Very Merry Christmas Party coming up, which is always great. We are standing by to see those magnificent trees. I understand that the gingerbread houses are going up.
Yes.
Yes, in size.
I've seen some live streams today.
Yeah. And they look amazing. Like there's a
They do.
gingerbread house being built now that's the size of a small
Yes.
house. It's just amazing.
Yes.
To do over in Walt Disney World with Christmas as well. Yeah. So
If you guys are on TikTok, there are several streams going on right now that are showcasing the live building of the gingerbread house because they are doing it right now. They are building it in the lobby, so you need to go see it because it's amazing what they do.
you can just imagine walking into that lobby and smelling the
Oh,
gingerbread. It's
smell.
awesome.
Oh gosh.
So that's it for us for this week. You know, We'll see you real soon. We'll see you next week, and hopefully again. As Chase and I move forward with more and more shows, stand by for Chase's ride focus on Disney News Jam next week as well. Can't wait to see that as it's Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad. We'll have some footage to show you as well that Chase took while he was there. So looking forward to that. But look, until next weekend, guys, we shall see you next week. Thank you very much, Chase, for joining me. See you later, guys.